Hello guys, so here's another monthly recap with Letterboxd. I've been saying it Letterbox, but there's like a D at the end, so like Letterboxd. I don't know, I'm gonna keep calling it Letterbox. My allergies are really kind of kicking my butt, so my eyes are like really sensitive to the light in the fan that's going. So if I look like I'm kind of squinting or if I'm tired, like that's why. I will say this was the month that I watched all of the Saw movies again, and then I also watched Spiral. So I will not be including those on this list because I made a very in-depth review video over every single Saw movie, including the new Spiral movie from this year. So if you're curious about what I thought of the Saw franchise, I'll put the video up here somewhere for you to go watch. And with a long list to get through, and it's already very late in the evening, I'm gonna jump right into this, and let's just start talking about what I watched this month in May. Now, the first movie on this list I actually did not watch in May. I watched it on April 28th, but I'm counting it because it was like the next movie that I watched after my last movie from April. So I'm just gonna count it. And that movie is Climax from 2018, directed by Gaspar Noé. Sorry, however you say his name. And I'm reading off of my notes here. The Letterboxd synopsis says, young dancers gather in a remote and empty school building to rehearse on a cold and wintry night. The all-night celebration soon turns into hallucinatory nightmare when they learn that their sangria is laced with LSD. Now, I watched this movie with my good pal Sheena. Hey Sheena. Well, I say I watched it with her, but she told me I had to watch it, and I was like, fine, I'll watch it. Like, I just been putting it off, like, from the trailer and from what, like, I could tell from, like, photos or just, like, reading descriptions of it, it didn't sound like a horror movie. Ugh, I was wrong. This movie is absolutely a fucking nightmare, anxiety-inducing, extremely stressful watch, but, like, it was great. Like, this movie very successfully portrayed what I would imagine having a bad trip on LSD would be like. But they did it in an outsider's view, and you're watching these people like spiral out of control, but there's like scenes where like the camera's upside down, or like it's being filmed from like the ceiling, and it's just really wild. Like, this whole movie was absolutely a trip. If this movie is on your watch list, or if you're like waiting for a sign from someone to watch it, please do yourself a favor and watch this. Trigger warning though, like, it is kind of fucked up. Like, it's just kind of it's a hard watch. But if you're in a good like mind space, I wouldn't be like on any kind of substance, or I don't even know if I would watch this drunk. This itself is a substance. The movie itself is a substance, and you are going to feel a certain way watching it. So just take that with what you will. And I give Climax 5 out of 5 stars. Aces across the board for that movie. Ooh. Big oof for this next one. The next movie on my list is called Separation, and it released this year. It's directed by William Brent Bell. Oh man. The description says a young girl finds solace in her artist father and the ghost of her dead mother. I do not want to spend a lot of time talking about this movie. The only reason why I went and saw it in theaters, paid money for this, was because it was kind of like a double friend date to go watch a movie with some friends, and we were like, yeah, just whatever horror movies in the theaters. God, just don't waste precious minutes, an hour, 107 minutes of your life. Do not waste that time watching this movie. It's actual dog shit. If I could rate this movie lower, I would. I gave it half a star. Just because, like, I don't know if I have to give it a star rating, but like that's just the lowest of low. God, it's terrible. Like, I don't want to go into detail. I don't want to say any more about it. It's just bad. Moving right along to the next movie on this list is Raw from 2016. I'm going to absolutely butcher the director's name. So sorry. It's French. Julia Ducournau. But the Letterboxd description says, in Justine's family, everyone is a vet and a vegetarian. At 16, she's a gifted teen ready to take on her first year in vet school. where her older sister also studies. There, she gets no time to settle. Hazing starts right away. Justine is forced to eat raw meat for the first time in her life. Unexpected consequences emerge as her true self begins to form. This movie was phenomenal. It's kind of hard to explain. Like, I mean, it's exactly what the description said. The ending is a little bit of a twist. I, for some reason, thought she ate, like, human meat. I don't know. Like, I don't know where I got that from, but, like, I remember when the movie, not before it had come out, but, like, when I first heard of it, and I watched a trailer, I was like, man, what is this? Like, and I just, like, put it in the back of my mind forever, and then, I was told, again, like, I have to watch this, so I finally gave it a chance. This month was, like, the month of watching recommended movies that I had been sleeping on, and I'm very glad that I did. This is another one that if it's on your list, go ahead and watch it. It's not a very complex story. There's a lot of very odd scenes in this that are like first times for me. I don't want to give anything away, but like there's a scene with her and her sister where like an accident happens, and like when the sister kind of comes to from the accident, she sees the main character Justine doing something I don't think anyone would ever want to catch someone doing. And it's just fucked up. So hopefully that tantalizes you enough to go watch it. And I also give this movie 5 out of 5 stars. This next one isn't really a horror. I would rather think it's like a drama, suspense drama. Like there's really nothing scary about it. If you find like post-apocalyptic type or like end of the world type movies kind of scary, then I would say this is like scary, I guess, but that kind of stuff doesn't spook me. But anyway, it's Greenland that released in last year, and it's directed by Rick Roman. Wow, what is it with these directors' names? I can't pronounce any of them. I'm so sorry in advance. The Letterboxd description reads, John Garrity, his estranged wife, and their young son embark on a perilous journey to find sanctuary as a planet-killing comet hurtles towards Earth. Amid terrifying accounts of cities getting leveled, the Garritys experience the best and worst in humanity. As the countdown to the global apocalypse approaches zero, their incredible trek accumulates in a desperate and last-minute flight to a possible safe haven. This movie just like kept me on the edge of my seat the whole time. There's a lot of drama in this. I love Gerard Butler. I have a soft little space in my heart for him. Ever since I watched P.S. I Love You, oh my god, I would literally marry him at the drop of a hat. But this movie is like, I don't know, it was kind of comforting to watch. It's been a really long time since I've watched a movie that like made me cry from like the emotional story that it had. I don't think it's by any means like a perfect movie. There was a lot of things that I didn't like about it, but it was exactly what I needed at the time that I watched it. So if you're looking for like just a good drama suspense movie to put on, and it has some like end of the world vibes to it, like I would absolutely recommend this one. I gave it 3.5 stars out of 5. The next one on my list is The Phantom of the Opera from 1925, directed by Rupert Julian. I love the classic Universal horror monsters. I will say The Phantom of the Opera or The Phantom isn't one of my top favorites. My absolute favorite classic Universal monster is the creature from the Black Lagoon. This movie is a silent film. It's in black and white, obviously. I find that silent films, they can hold my attention. I really have to be in a certain mindset to watch them. And I'd put this one on while I was in bed and I was getting ready to go to sleep. And naturally, I passed the fuck out. But in the morning, the next day, I did like start it over and rewatch it. It was a nice little refresh. It's a really, like, I think classic movies like this are really nice ways for me personally to kind of, if I'm feeling anxious or I'm not feeling super, like my focus isn't like fully there, I can put on like a classic horror film and just watch it. I think that's why the original Twilight Zone has such a like special place in my heart, because older film and older shows like that, like the 60s and earlier, really have a way of like soothing my soul, and like it's nothing too serious, and like it's just enough spooky and just enough creepy that like I don't know, it's hard to explain. It's very comforting. Older horror movies are a watch for me, and I rate this one 3.5 stars out of 5. And we got another not really horror movie on this list. This one's called Bad Times at the El Royale, released in 2018. directed by Drew Goddard. Goddard? That sounds right. The description on Letterboxd says, Lake Tahoe, 1969. 7 strangers, each one with a secret to bury, meet at El Royale, a decadent motel with a dark past. In the course of a fateful night, everyone will have one last shot at redemption. Okay, how do I explain this? First, let me get my review, my star rating out of the way. I gave it, 3.5 stars out of 5. I thought it was really good. I was entertained completely. Seeing Chris Hemsworth as like a culty bad guy was really cool. I loved his character. I loved Jeff Bridges' character the most. All the characters were really likable. This movie did a really good job of like making me care about the story and the characters. But I felt this is such a shitty or like not a very thoughtful thing to say, but like this movie felt like it wanted to be like a Quentin Tarantino movie. Like the vibe, the era, like everything, like I don't know, like maybe I'm alone in that, or maybe like I'm not. Maybe a lot of people think this. I really enjoyed it. I do love Quentin Tarantino movies. Watching this, I was just like, is this kind of like a knockoff Tarantino movie? I don't know. That doesn't it doesn't take anything away from my rating or how I felt. It was just a little detail I wanted to add in this. Moving on to the next entry. This one. My next one is Army of the Dead from 2021, directed by Zack Snyder. I want to go on record first saying that I love Zack Snyder. I have been a big fan of his films ever since he really came onto the scene. I'm probably one of the only people on the planet who likes Watchmen. I like comics. I love the Watchmen comics from Alan Moore. I loved the Before Watchmen, the newer ones that came out recently, like a couple years back. I'm subscribed to the newest Rorschach books, but I haven't started reading them yet. I'm a little bit backlogged on my comics right now. But that being said, I love Zack Snyder. I respect him as a director and creator. I'm not personally a huge fan of zombie films to begin with. I feel like they need to be really unique. I feel like this one had a unique flair. It was almost too emotional for me. The human element of the drama, I just didn't care for it. Also, the daughter, I'm gonna look up her name really quick. Elle Purnell, she's a fucking C-word. She's a fucking C-word.
I'm about to scream the C-word into my shirt.
She was so awful to her dad. She was so awful, such a bratty, snooty little, I'm just gonna endanger everyone and, go do whatever the fuck I want. Maybe I'm not remembering this correctly, but there's, a scene towards the end where she just, goes off on her own, and they're, very close to, the nuke hitting them. But, she just goes off to try to find these ladies that she's trying to help, and, whatever happened to them? No. At the end, I think they ended up dying. So, you went and did all that and caused all that shit for nothing. Spoiler, but God, she ruined the whole movie for me. She was an absolute C-word. God, moving on to the next one. No, wait, hold on. 3 stars. I liked the movie. It's just, I hated her, and I didn't like all the, emotional stuff. I wanted it to be funnier. I wanted it to be, okay, maybe not funnier, but, I wanted it to be, I don't know, more goofy? I don't know what I'm trying to say. It was just lacking a little something for me. I still thought it was okay. I feel like a 3 out of 5 star rating is very high. It's above average, or it's above middle. So, it's good. You can watch it on Netflix. Go watch for yourself and you be the judge. This next one's a little bit of a cheat. It's a collection of 15 chapters. And it's the Batman show, short film compilation. I don't know what you'd categorize this as, but it's Batman from 1943. And it was directed by Lambert Hillier. This movie collection of chapters super doesn't age well. There's a white man playing a Japanese man in these movies, but man, there is so much charm to this little series. And this is the first one. There's another one that's Batman and Robin. I found these on DVD a few years back, and I finally got around to watching them. This is actually a little bit of an incomplete entry because I haven't finished this series, but I wanted to add it because it's just so cool. And I honestly, I'm such a huge Batman fan, which I'll probably explore later in this channel. Once I establish a little bit more horror content, I'll start dabbling into my comic love. I had no idea that there was Batman live action media before the Adam West Batman. So this was a little bit of a wild ride. His cowl looks ridiculous. They are goofy motherfuckers in their costumes. But I loved every second of what I watched, and I can't wait to finish the series. I gave it 3 stars out of 5 because I couldn't really get past that whitewashing Japanese man. I don't care if it's the 40s. Oh man, this next one is an absolute classic from my childhood. This next one is Osmosis Jones from 2001. And it's directed by Bobby Farley and Peter Farley. I mean, this movie kind of goes without saying. You're watching these animated, like it's a cartoon. This animated white blood cell cop and a cold pill sidekick look for and fighting this like insanely deadly virus that's made its way into Frank's body. And I don't know if you've ever seen the anime Cells at Work. It's very much that, but like not cute and Japanese. If you were a fan of that one episode in the Magic School Bus where they go into that kid's body and they like see how his like digestive tract and everything works, like I don't know, as a kid I found that shit fascinating. So, you know, whenever I discovered Osmosis Jones, I was like, oh man, this is one of my faves. I remember there's a scene where he's talking to Drax the cold pill in his car, and they're headed somewhere, and he's talking about how poor he was and how, you know, have you ever tried to blow dry your hair with a fart? And it, like, Drax is like, please stop, you're gonna make me vomit. Jones says like, a vomit? We couldn't afford no vomit. Vomit was for rich folks. Like, that whole scene just like cracked me up, like as a kid. I remember to this day like how hard I would laugh at that scene. But yeah, so anyway, took a little trip down nostalgia road and rewatched this on HBO. It was amazing. 10 out of 10, or technically 5 out of 5, recommend. Ooh, we got another animated film on this list. I recently rewatched the first Hotel Transylvania from 2012, and it was directed by Genndy Tartakovsky. God, I'm so sorry. Anyway, this is just a really cute little family animated film. Like, imagine the Monster Mash, and like Dracula has a daughter, Mavis. Oh god, she's like such a goth queen icon. I just want to be like you, Mavis. Dracula has a hotel. It's like a safe haven for all monsters. Like the Mummy, Wolfman, the Invisible Man. Definitely like a callback to like Universal Monsters or like the classic horror monsters. But I just think of like the song Monster Mash. They took that idea and the characters and then they put them in a hotel. And like a human stumbles upon the hotel and Mavis falls in love with the human. And it's just a really cute story. And I feel like Hotel Transylvania does not get enough love. I know it's not like a horror film, but they took like horror icons and then made them palatable, digestible for like a family setting. And I'm a sucker for like animated films. This movie definitely gets 4 out of 5 stars for me. For some reason, I find it really cringy of all the like pop music or like modern music that's in the movie so much. I know it's like the demographic is towards kids and kids eat that shit up, so I can't dock it too many points, but it does lose a star for it. But yeah, 4 out of 5 stars for me. And the last one on this list, the last movie I watched this month, was Hotel Transylvania 2, directed by the same guy, Genndy Tartakovsky. God, sorry. Yes, that guy. This one I did not like as much as the first one. I only gave it 2.5 stars out of 5. I don't know, it's weird. The ending with like the kid like beating the shit out of all of the like bat creatures, and I would have liked to see more with like Dracula's dad in it. He was an awesome character, Vlad. He was cool. I don't know, it was entertaining. Like I laughed and I watched it and I enjoyed it. It was fun. But like, I don't like how Mavis was this super uptight like new mom vibe. Like, I don't know, it was weird. Like, it was definitely a strange atmosphere set in this like kid movie that I'm like so seriously critiquing right now. God, it's a kid's movie. It's still part of my collection. I have it on DVD. I think I'll start June off by watching Hotel Transylvania 3 because I haven't seen that one yet. So that'll be nice. And that wraps it up for this video, this little monthly recap for May. What did you guys watch during May? Did you find any new favorites? Were you disappointed by anything you watched this month? Let me know down in the comments below. And I am at 103 subscribers, I think. 102 or 103. So that's really cool. I don't know. I don't want to get emotional. 100 subscribers doesn't seem like a lot, but like, that's 100 people who took the time to hit subscribe on my channel. So that does mean a lot to me. It's kind of a little bitty milestone. So I'm going to end the video here. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, night, morning, whenever you're watching this. And I'll just catch you in the next video. Bye.